Okay.
Monday. Oh, it's Monday.
Microphones are on.
It's 7 o'clock. Good evening, Town of Trophy Club, and welcome to the Town Council meeting. It is July the 14th, 7 o'clock, and we do have a quorum. It looks like Stacy's not here. Not sure where, she's late. She's coming in late. And also Ryland Rowe is on vacation. So we do have a quorum, and we can have a meeting. So if we would please stand for an invocation by Pastor Barry Klingon.
As we go to prayer tonight, we remember the ancient words of wisdom from thousands of years ago found in the Psalms, where the psalmist wrote, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper." Our Father, we stop for this moment tonight to honor you, to recognize your worth in our lives, and Lord, knowing fully that every good and perfect gift comes down from above, and we give you thanksgiving here tonight. It is a joy, Father, to live in this community, to have the friends, the neighbors that we have around us. And Lord, it is a joy to have people that give of their time to make this community work. I pray tonight specifically and first for our council and our mayor. I pray that, Lord, you would watch over them, give them the time they need to get everything done in their lives, the busy lives. I pray that, Lord, you would keep them in your safety and in your goodness, with blessings falling on them and their family. And Father, we pray for our fire chief and our police chief and all of those men and women that work under them as first responders in our community. May you continue to watch over them, keep them safe as even they keep us safe. We pray for our town manager and all the staff that makes this community work. We pray your blessings upon each one of them and what they are desiring in their heart. I pray, oh God, you would give it to them. Now, Lord, may we have this meeting tonight, and may we not only in this meeting but in all times in our life honor you with our words. The psalmist said, "May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight." And we pray that'll be true for us tonight. Bless this town, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Okay, we will have public comments. Would you please read for us the...
The first speaker is Jared King.
Hello, folks. 106 Panorama Court. Just wanted to talk again about our council member Stacy Bauer, who has been criminally charged for stealing regarding youth sports. The ask previously by Danny and myself was to see a vote of no confidence by the council, at least to have a voice. I'd like to hear that at the next council meeting. One thing I forgot to mention, previously as she was running, these allegations were coming public, and she sent cease and desist letters to individuals in this town. And so again, that was wrong in my mind. So I'd like to hear and see y'all's vote as far as a no confidence, especially Mr. Beach. You've said I've been disingenuous on this topic. And again, I'd like everyone to take a stand on this issue. Thank you.
The next speaker is Danny Mayer.
Danny Mayer, I live at 2201 Prestwick Avenue here in Trophy Club. Recently, I spoke to you regarding Councilmember Bauer's felony indictment. My message was simple. I called for Mrs. Bauer to resign immediately, and failing that, I requested that the town council hold a vote of confidence or no confidence regarding her continued service on the council. Since that time, many residents have contacted me to express their displeasure with Ms. Bauer continuing to serve on the council and to urge myself and others to continue speaking out at every council meeting until she resigns. These residents believe that integrity, accountability, and public trust are the cornerstones of good governance. They expect elected officials to uphold the highest ethical standards as they are entrusted to represent the people and serve the best interests of our community. Councilmember Bauer has been indicted on felony theft charges stemming from an ongoing course of conduct involving the misappropriation of funds. While she is entitled to her day in court and the presumption of innocence under the law, the presence of a felony indictment against a sitting council member severely undermines public confidence and damages the reputation of our town council. We believe that Ms. Bauer should have stepped down immediately upon being indicted to preserve the integrity of the office she holds. Her refusal to do so has left the responsibility of taking action with this council. Therefore, once again, we are calling on you to act by placing a confidence, no confidence vote on the agenda. Each of you has a duty to the citizens to take a clear public stand on this matter. It is important to note that by not participating, it is important to note that this is not partisan. Personal grievance or some imaginary vendetta has been claimed. It is about upholding the values our town deserves: honesty, transparency, and ethical leadership. There are two reasons that could be raised against having this vote. The first is the presumption of innocence. While this principle is foundational in our legal system, elected officials are held to a higher ethical standard due to the trust and responsibility placed in them. An indictment, especially for a felony involving financial misconduct, raises serious concerns. The second is the cost of a special election. While cost is always a consideration, the erosion of public trust is far more damaging and costly in the long term. Inaction by the council will be interpreted as either tacit approval of the alleged conduct or reluctance to take a public stand. The financial cost of a special election is a small price to pay to safeguard the credibility of this governing body. You were elected to lead. Leadership sometimes requires difficult, uncomfortable decisions. Now is one of those times. We urge you to demonstrate the leadership by placing a confidence, no confidence vote on the agenda shortly.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Wendy Bailey.
My name's Wendy Bailey. I live at 201 Durango. I'm here tonight because I would like to request, we had a passing of Lou Hawker. You know, you were at his funeral this past week. And I worked with Lou and Tom Mills quite a bit during my 3 campaigns. And I believe that it would be a really good gesture on behalf of our town to honor Lou with a memorial out at the park that he's dedicated his life to preserve for free. And I also would like to extend that honor to Tom so that he can enjoy it before he passes. So he'll know how much we value his effort and his work, all the years that he's done it. I'd like for him to have an opportunity to see that. I would have liked Lou to have that as well, but hopefully we can make that happen for Tom. So I would like to make that an agenda item, I guess, or however y'all want to make that happen. But I would really like to see something happen for Lou.
Thank you for that recommendation. We'll take that under consideration, Brandon. Thank you.
I have one more person
Thank you.
signing up to speak. That's all right. Steve Southwell. You need to complete a speaker's card? Or you could.
Mayor and Council, hello. My name is Steve Southwell. I reside at 995 Downey Drive in Louisville, Texas. I'm item number 5 on your agenda tonight. I know you have to vote for a representative for the Denko Area 911 Board of Managers. and I would love to have your vote for me. I've sent an email earlier today, and I know you've got the bio and all that, so I don't want to rehash that, and I know you've got a busy agenda. Just want to let you know, I'm doing this because my city asked me if I would step up, and I said yes, because I can never say no. It's an important job. 911 is the first responders. It's a very vital service, and there's really no political way to handle it. There is only you do. You have to pass a budget every year and make it happen. And this is a service that is funded mostly 6 to 7 million a year by the 50 cents on our cell phone bills. And that number is set by statute. That's not something that the district can raise or lower. So as you know, that presents a challenge because we have inflation. We can't control our economy, and we can't really change that number. So all there really is to do is be fiscally conservative and make sure that it happens, make sure that we stay in touch with the technology that we need to make those calls go through. So I'm here if you have any questions for me, if you want to call me during that item or whatever. I'm sorry I didn't sign up earlier. I got here as quick as I could from another town council meeting. But,
Very good.
Anyway.
That's good. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for coming.
Next speaker, Donna Kawasaki. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Donna Kawasaki, and I live at 9 Edgemere Drive. And I have a request from the leadership of the Town of Trophy Club. I had my life savings stolen, and I had more than $10 billion of investment that was intercepted. And I was able to catch the criminal and get a confession, and it was Meta employees behaving badly. There are a lot of Meta employees that are good, but unfortunately there are some very bad ones. Police Captain Bobby Tillman and I have worked daily for 27 months. It's easily been the most difficult situation of my life, and I've led the growth of multiple billion-dollar businesses. But I need the leadership to go and meet with the Frisco FBI and also the Dallas FBI, because I've tried, Bobby's tried, and we've had other federal agencies try, and we've had a lot of employee turnover, and we need help. I am at risk of losing this $10 billion of investment that I've worked more than 20 years for. I am also the new Chief Operating Officer for Johnson & Johnson Worldwide. So they asked to and offered to set up my home office, and I basically I don't know how to respond, because Bobby and I have been working on this for 27 months and we haven't made any progress.
Thank you. Thank you. Other speakers?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. And we will go to the next agenda item, which is the community spotlight. And I am so thankful to be able to do this. We'll wait until you get seated. Go ahead and set up. Ready? Okay, the town mourns with those who lost life and property in Kerrville, Texas, and from the devastating floods at the river. Seeing the tragedy in that location reminds us of the importance of emergency planning and preparedness. As you know, the Town of Trophy Club has a business goal, and I am forever showing anyone who will look at our strategic plan, and so you can go online and you will see strategic plan for the years 2025 through 2030. And number one initiative, emergency planning in Trophy Club. So emergency planning in Trophy Club is a high priority. And I want to thank our council last year when we did our strategic planning, saying this is, number one, emergency planning. And you know what? As the year has gone through, it seems like every decision we make has a factor of emergency planning in it. And as an elected official, the mayor, I remember becoming mayor, and where's Jason? Where's the chief? He calls me and says, Mayor, you need to come to my office. You have a paper to sign. You are the emergency director. And I'm thinking, really? And he said, Mayor, don't worry about it. I will take care of you. So Jason Wise has been hard at developing our emergency planning. And most recently, the council set aside $155,000 for the replacement of the town's outdoor warning system. So he's going to update us on this as well as any other kind of factors regarding our emergency planning. Our number one job up here is to see that you are safe. And so emergency planning is critical to our success. Thank you, Jason.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. So first, I just want to begin by recognizing the council's support and strategic planning. So because of that leadership, we're not just preparing for emergencies, but we're becoming a more resilient, responsive, and connected community. So as we continue investing in emergency preparedness, it's important to make plans, but we need to measure those results. Measurable outcomes allow us to evaluate our progress, hold ourselves accountable, and most importantly, show how our efforts are making a real impact on the residents. So tonight, I'd just like to highlight a few outcomes, key outcomes that reflect the impact of our planning, our partnerships, and our community engagement over the past year. So as we all remember, in December of 2024, we entered into an interlocal agreement with the city of Roanoke to help manage our emergency management services. So since then, the transition from Denton County OEM has been completed. Our basic emergency management plan has been reviewed and approved by Texas Division of Emergency Management. And we're now working to complete the emergency support functions for the state approval by the September of this year. So that partnership ensures that we're better integrated with regional resources and able to provide faster and smarter responses during emergencies. Another key area of progress is our work on the outdoor warning sirens infrastructure, as the mayor said. So we're collaborating with Roanoke at this time to align our outdoor warning siren systems. So because of the funding that you have allocated, we're on track to begin replacing those outdated hardware, upgrading our software, and improving our activation capabilities starting this October. So preparedness is not just about infrastructure, it's about people. And since August of last year, I've partnered with Mayor Tiffany to conduct public outreach sessions with various groups on emergency preparedness. As a result, 75 residents have now signed up for our new Response Ready program, giving first responders critical information about mobility challenges, their pets, and access before we can even arrive. And as we've seen excellent results from our communication and marketing department as well. So Director Jill Lynn and Kelly Martinez, they've gone above and beyond creating safety messages through social media and our town weekly newsletter. And because of their work, we've seen a 12% increase in TC alerts in those accounts. In fact, it was about 630 people.
Yes.
So that's just not a statistic. It means that hundreds more residents are receiving accurate, real-time alerts about severe weather, gas leaks, power outages, and other emergencies. So not only do we use TC alerts for that, we use it as a mass notification system, but it also allows us to target specific neighborhoods when needed. And finally, last year, Director Cox and his team installed flood gauges in our most frequently flooded area. So I'm going to ask the citizens real quick. Does anybody want to guess what area that is? You got it. So
Yep.
the bridge, right, by Tom Thumb, right there. Go by the fire station, I'm gonna give you a challenge coin for that answer.
Well,
Very good, we have smart citizens.
you're not going to believe this. I had a citizen call me the other day, and she specifically said, have you seen the gauge signs?
Right on.
Sticks. Yeah, good. People are noticing them.
Yeah, so we continue to work with the National Weather Service during significant events, and we highlight the message of Turn Around, Don't Drown campaign to raise awareness when those flooding events occur. So Director Cox has some great ideas on how to improve the warning and prevention in that specific area in the future. So in summary, just want to let you know that we've completed a major regional transition. We are investing in smarter, faster emergency alerting systems. We've engaged directly with our residents, many of whom are now better prepared than ever. And we're making measurable gains in communication and warning technologies. So I want to share something with you today that happened to me. Today, I was shown a social media post from a longtime resident with a question about outdoor warning sirens and phone alerts. What really impressed me were the helpful responses. Residents jumped in with accurate information about our sirens, TC alerts, weather apps, and NOAA radios. So I say, great job to Trophy Club, way to look out for each other. And so once again, none of this would be possible without your support. And I want to thank each of you for prioritizing emergency management and preparedness and for giving us the tools that we need to protect the community.
Thank you. I need to add a bullet point. The 5-year strategic plan also includes a goal to implement a drainage watershed analysis plan for the town creeks and the drainage areas. So again, we have a leadership that's thinking to the future and taking care of us for those emergency events, and we appreciate it. Now, I would like for everybody to get out your telephone. Everybody get your telephone out. Do you have TC alerts on your telephone? If you do, you don't need to get your phone out. But if you don't, get your phone out. TC alerts, that is how our town communicates emergencies, alerts, opportunities, even park events. If you do not have TC alerts, if your children don't have TC alerts, that's the way we're communicating. Please utilize it, okay? Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I have
Thank
one
you.
question.
Yes, sir.
We joined with Roanoke. Has anybody else joined that program?
Not yet, sir.
Do you anticipate anybody else doing that?
In the future, it's possible. There's talk about it, yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
comments on this? Stacy, nothing? Dennis, nothing?
Thank you.
All right,
Comment?
thank you.
Any comments, Steve?
In general comments?
About this
Oh, no.
emergency? No, I think it's wonderful. Thank you very much, and I'm going to continue to ask you to keep us updated because it's very important. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to working for you, update from the town council members. You have any comments for we've been really busy, I'll tell you that. Go for it,
I
Steve.
have two. Since Ryland's not here, I'll steal his. One, Chief, every time you're here, seems like hats off to you and your team. There was a fire in our neighborhood just a couple days ago. Once again, they were on it quickly and extinguished it very quickly. Lightning strike, so hats off to Chief, you and the team. And we also got an opportunity to go to the new Euro Rice
Oh,
and
okay.
Spice. Anybody been there yet?
Yeah.
Brand new to Trophy Club? I'd highly recommend you go there.
Good. Okay. You have any comments? Gary, you have anything to say?
No, one thing I like to share with the group, this is my first year participating in the parade, been on the float. I'm gonna tell you, it was amazing standing up there, being able to throw candy to everybody and not get in trouble. But just the amount of people that showed up and the patriotism was just amazing, and it just gets better and better. And next year's our country's 250th anniversary, so got to step it up for next year, because I don't think any of us in this room are going to see 300. So, thank you, though.
Thanks. Dennis?
No, just it's nice to see a lot of people in the audience. Thank you.
It is
And
nice. I mean,
appreciate people
come.
speaking.
Jeff?
No, I'm good.
Stacy? Well, I invite you to early morning coffee, 7 to 9 o'clock at Harmony Park. Walk over to Harmony Park, get a free cup of coffee, meet friends. I did go Saturday to the snow cone event, and it's just great. We are a community of people. Get out there, meet your neighbors, meet your friends, and all of a sudden you meet somebody that's been here since 1971, and you're just so happy to know that there are people that have been here that long. So it's wonderful. 7 to 9, coffee at Harmony Park with the parks.
You're allowed to drive.
No, walk. This is a walking community, isn't it, Connie?
They live too far away to walk to Harmony Park. Okay.
Well, now, where do you, we'll start early. Okay, anything else? Now, Town Manager, would you like to give us an update?
Yep, yeah, so just touching on that, Coffee in the Park is tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 o'clock, and we welcome anyone that would like to come and get a free cup of coffee and engage with our Parks and Rec staff there. Also, I just want to say a special thank you. You know, the Trophy Club is the very best community in the world to celebrate the 4th of July, and it was a tremendous success this last couple weeks ago with that. Special thank you to the Town Council who made that day possible, and obviously worked very hard that day as well alongside town staff. Thank you to the town staff who worked long day that day, so probably about 20 hours for our employees. They would start at 4 in the morning, go till midnight on that. So this work cannot be done without their tireless efforts and the way that they go about conducting themselves with excellence on that day. I also want to thank the TCEVA, who was there with us all day for that, doing different things with helping with, patrolling, watching out for things, helping people cross streets, things like that. They're fantastic. We very much appreciate the TCEVA and all that they do for our town. And also the Stars and Stripes Committee and for their efforts to help make sure that the flags got around town. Dozens and dozens of volunteers came to help make sure that we planted 40,000 flags around Trophy Club, making that day just a very, very special time here in our community. So thank you to everyone. Obviously, no one person is responsible for all parts of 4th of July. It takes all of us working together, and that's why Trophy Club is the best place in the world to celebrate the 4th of July. All right, we also have coming up soon on July 25th at 7:30 p.m. At our pool, we have the dive-in movie. It is Moana 2, a favorite of many. My daughter is one of those. So come and enjoy the evening with us. Moana 2 will be showing at the pool, again, July 25th at 7:30 p.m. We do have our council retreat coming up here soon. It will also be on that same day, July 25th, and so we invite the public that would like to come and attend with us to be here at Town Hall. The time will be posted as we post the agenda for that particular meeting. However, it will be a full-day retreat with council while we go over our council priorities and also setting the business plan for our upcoming fiscal year. We do have a couple of board and commission meetings that are over the next next week or two. First, on July 21st, we have our Parks and Recreation Board meeting at 6 p.m. On July 23rd, we have our Economic Development Corporation meeting at 6 p.m. And on July 24th, we have a joint meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission as well as the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and that'll be here at 6 p.m. as well. That special joint meeting is specifically to review the assisted living facility group home discussion that we've been having, one of the council priorities for this year as we develop some policies around that. Let's see, and last but not least, Breakfast with Tiffany is coming up here soon on July 21st as well. That's Monday, July 21st at the same location as always, the Tom Thumb Starbucks. Join us there to be able to engage with town leaders. And that is all that I have for today, Mayor. Thank you.
Cookies are in the freezer. I've
And
already
the
got 'em.
cookies are excellent. Yes.
They're ready. Okay, thank you so much.
So there was a wide array of topics discussed in public comments today. So I thought maybe it's always helpful to kind of remind the general public where that clock comes from with the 3 minutes. This is section 551.007. It says a governmental body shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on the agenda for an open meeting of the body to address the body regarding the item at the meeting before or during the body's consideration of the item. And so that's why it appears at the top of your agenda, so that people can comment on any of these items before they get to the item. And council has rules that allow you to also comment during items. There's also a section here that says that the governmental body may adopt reasonable rules regarding the public's right to address the body. And so if you're reading that paragraph, you can see the 3 minutes there, and then, or it says, or the time limit determined by the presiding officer, which would be the mayor. Another concept that's enshrined in law, and this is adopted in 2019, says a governmental body may not prohibit public criticism of the governmental body, including criticism of any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or service. this subsection does not apply to public criticism that is otherwise prohibited by law. So sometimes it's nice.
Dean, speak up, got a couple people out there asking.
Okay. Sometimes it's nice just to understand the context and why we do what we do, and so wanted to point out that this section here, 551.007 of the Texas Government Code, is the section you can look to see what your rights are when it comes to public comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate these quick civic tips. And he always pinpoints to very specific things that may be occurring in the agenda. And it's just a great reminder, and it's a teaching moment. Thank you so much. Consent agenda, is there a motion for approval?
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items 2 through 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jeff seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's go to our individual items.
Item 5, consider a resolution casting the Town of Trophy Club's vote appointing a candidate to the Dentco Area 911 District Board of Managers.
Okay, is there a nomination for this position?
Mayor, I'd like to appreciate Steve showing up and talking to us. I don't know either one of these candidates, one of which has town management experience. That impressed me.
Me, yes.
Steve, I think you brought up IT, which is also what is, and so I'm in a quandary as to which one, but I think it's impressive that Steve showed up at our meeting, and I'd like to nominate him.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Jeff seconds. Further discussion, anybody? All those in favor, raise your hand. Steve, you got it. God bless you.
Semper Fi,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We do know that we are very happy to be a partner with Denton County. So I know that particularly our town manager loves it because it makes it easier for him too. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Item 6, consider an ordinance amending Chapter 1, Article 1.05, Code of Ethics and Conduct of the Town's Code of Ordinances as recommended by the Ethics Review Commission.
And you're going to speak to this?
I sure am.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So I'll start with right here. The item before you this evening is to consider potential changes to Article 1.05 of the Code of Ordinances. And this is specifically is a section that has to deal with the Code of Ethics and Conduct for that. So where this comes from, so about a year ago.
May I interrupt you?
Please,
Because we
absolutely.
do have 3 members of our Ethics Board Committee here.
Wonderful.
Could we introduce them?
We sure can. Yep. Do you want to come forward real quick and go
Yeah.
ahead and introduce yourselves?
Come on up.
You've been voluntold.
That was the come on up, ask.
I'm Mindy Bone. Jennifer Olson.
And I'm Julie Edwards.
And for your knowledge, we have a member that has resigned, and is now working for the town of Trophy Club. And we just love her. Jackie is here with us, and we have a couple other members. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. They've worked really hard, and I wanted them to be
They have,
recognized.
absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been quite the road. As I mentioned, we met last year just after the new group taking office, and they were appointed beginning October 1 for the new group here. And we, as we were reviewing the responsibilities of that particular board, you come across this one section here in 1.05.006G, right? It says that the commission shall meet at least once a year to review this article and may make recommendations to the town council for amendments here too. So when we met with them, we went through the entire ordinance. So we went from the very beginning to the very end, read every line, and discussed potential changes that that group of residents and board members might have regarding changes to our ethics ordinance. So we met on October 29th in 2024, then again on April 1st in 2025, May 13th, and then June 17th, and ultimately at the June 17th meeting, they unanimously recommended these changes here, these amendments to the town council. So that's what brings us here today, right? It is the process of our boards and commissions and resident involvement that brings us to the point of making these recommendations here. All right, so we're going to be talking code language, so I apologize as we get started for this because it's rather boring, and I realize that as we go through.
So give him a hand.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to try and make it as not boring as possible, but I can only do so much. Just be grateful that you're not on the Ethics Review Commission that's had to listen to me talk for 4 different meetings about this exact topic. So a couple of things that we were looking to do. First of all, was to define what an insignificant value was. So in the ordinance, the ethics ordinance, it does say that, it outlines the idea that it is illegal, right, and it is against our ordinance for an employee, a town official, a candidate, a board or commission member, or an employee's family member to accept a gift for the purposes of influencing their behavior one way or another, all right? But it says that there are some prohibitions to that, okay? So there are some ideas that are not to be included in that category of things that might be influencing someone. One of them is something that is a non-monetary gift that is insignificant in value. That item was not defined on it. However, the state law does define that, and it's in the ethics law, and it sets it at $50. So we've added $50 into that section. There was also quite a bit of discussion about scholarships that are currently actually given to our public safety personnel, and it is a scholarship that is given to their children, right? These are by way of some nonprofit organizations that we have around town that do a great job and offer really a tremendous service and just gift to our employees by offering to pay offering scholarships to their children to pay for college. So the discussion was, would that be a violation of the current policy? And as we reviewed it, we decided, yeah, it looks like that actually would be a violation of the policy. So they wanted to include language that would put some framework around that to allow it to be permissible. Okay, so that permissible language would be anything that would be an award, grant, scholarship, or similar gift that's related to training, licensing, or education from a nonprofit organization, right? That's specifically limited to a group of town employees. So we're not talking here about let's say there's a foundation that's offering, a scholarship all the way through the state of Texas, or maybe throughout the entire country, and it just so happens that one of our employees' children get that scholarship, right? That's not the ones we're talking about here. We're talking about the ones where someone comes to the town and says, we'd like to target your employees, and we'd like to offer a scholarship to specifically your employees here, and then rules around doing that. So one of the rules was that that could only be offered to an employee or an employee's family member once every 4 years. Also, that it required public prior approval by the town manager, and also a public disclosure at a town council meeting. So once someone was to receive an award, we would just simply announce it here during a public meeting, probably during the updates from the town manager, updates from the council members, simply saying that, this person has received a scholarship from this organization, probably thanking them for the opportunity to be able to do that.
Brandon, I have a question about that. So what would the communication stream be from the town to the organization about this change? I mean, I think of Rotary, right? We know Rotary gives out scholarships. So how do we communicate with any group, Rotary or any other, about the policy change?
Yeah, so obviously we know who these organizations are at this point. So following adoption by the town council, I'll just reach out to them and say, we have a few new rules on this. We need to make sure that we are, that anything that you're offering directly to town employees like this, we are working within this framework that we have here.
Okay.
Question. So if you're, are you going to base this on a repeat gift to, let's say, a town parks person, right?
A
And they
town
got additional children, right? So one year, one of their kids would be awarded it. The next year, would their other kid, if they're qualified, be able to win it?
Yeah.
Or is it limited by the employee?
So the way that it's been recommended from the Ethics Review Commission to the town council is for it to be limited to that employee and their family members, right? So think of it as the counting measure being the employee. So if the employee has 3 children, right, in the current year, I'd be able to, a child might be able to receive a scholarship. The next year, any member of my family would be ineligible for that particular scholarship from that particular organization.
If I want to comment on that, should I wait for you to finish, or we could talk about it now?
Let's go ahead and correct it, change
Okay.
it if you want to.
I don't have a solution for it. I don't like it, okay? And I don't like it because we have multiple, or could have multiple people, families, including spouses, not just, we talk children, but it could be spouses, that we would inhibit their ability to get a better education or get a type of thing. So the one thing, the one place that's been mentioned quite a bit is the Rotary. The Rotary, if I understand it correctly, deletes the name of the applicant as they approve. So there's no, I'm not saying there's no bias, but that minimizes the ability to bias, okay? So my objection is to that part about one
The
per
ones every
family,
4 years.
right?
Mhm.
Every 4 years, okay? And I'd like to see that. I don't have unfortunately, I don't have a replacement item. I just want to say I'd like to send that back for review.
Sure, it is, if the council would like to go that direction of saying it, to remove that requirement, it is simple, we can just strike that language.
I would agree. I mean, think of a family of four, a son gets an award, that's motivation for the next one in line, maybe. So, yeah, I would definitely support that.
Yeah, I think it penalizes students from applying, and they need that experience, win or lose, you know.
So I understand the reason for the paragraph, okay? It's because it is an exception to the $50 rule, okay? I've already told Dean, I think it's legalistic language is gobbledygook. I want to question is why we're excluding the town manager, because the town manager's got 3 kids?
Yeah, the reason why was because it is my responsibility to review and to approve all of those, and it just didn't seem to be right that I would be in that seat and potentially have my children participate in those scholarships.
Okay, and then my question is, why are you, if an outside nonprofit is giving an employee a gift, an award, the scholarship, why are you approving it?
I'm approving it.
And this is
by-
for conversation.
Correct, yeah.
I mean,
no, good
you and
point.
I have already talked
Absolutely.
this out.
I am approving it by way of it fits within the ethics
Correct.
ordinance,
Okay.
if that makes sense, right?
Got it.
So I can reject the gift on behalf of the employee saying it's not eligible for our employees because it doesn't fit our ethics
But it doesn't
ordinance.
say that, even though it's
Correct,
so
yeah.
legalistic that it's, okay?
Yeah.
All right, but I'm not objecting, I'm just
Okay.
saying that should be explained, okay? And, thank you.
Okay. So are you finished with this topic, or are we moving forward?
Oh, we're not even close yet. We have
I know. No, this no, I'm talking about
this item.
This item.
Very good.
Does that clean this
so
up then?
I think what I heard from everyone, just summarizing this point, might be an amendment that we make to it later on in the meeting here, but you'd like to strike the
Okay.
language of once every 4 years.
Right.
Everything else seems to be
Right.
in place. Dennis has some lawyer
No,
language.
not just once every 4 years, but just take the one per family
Right.
out.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Same thing, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So you're saying if they win it once, then they gotta wait 4 years
Well,
for it again?
okay, you have a kid, and I know of one individual, but I'm trying to think of 3 or 4 years from now when somebody, family's getting it, right? Each one's done per year. If your kid's going to North Texas or college or whatever, that's 4-year minimum, right? The spouse may want to go too. So I want to take the numbers out. And I'm not trying to say one family's got 1 kid, one family's got 10 kids. It doesn't matter. They all have the opportunity every year to improve themselves.
Right. Yeah, I just think it should be like a one and done. So once they win it, then they're out of the pool.
Well, you mean the families out of
No,
the pool?
no, if an individual, let's say you
Of
got 5
course.
kids in a family.
Yes.
2 of them win it, then they're out, then you get rid of the 4-year limitation.
Okay,
So that's another way to set it up, right? Where
Right.
you would eliminate the repeat
correct.
awards and just simply make it so that for each type of award being given, I guess from a certain organization, you limit that to one type of that award.
Yeah, but see you got 4 years, and 4 years of college and the gifts or the scholarships are not for 4 years, they're for, as I understand it.
Correct. No,
okay?
they're for the
Or
one.
could be, each nonprofit would have their own ability to do what they want.
Yeah.
But, so I'm against limiting.
Okay. Yeah, as we get to the end of the meeting, or at the end of this item, we'll
Okay,
probably
good.
looking
Okay.
for ways of amendments
go.
on that item if
All
the
right.
council would like to do so. All right, I'm
Good.
going to move on to the next item, which is
Yes.
the area of jurisdiction and authority. So in the current version of the ordinance, if there is a ethics complaint that is filed against an employee, the path for that is the same as anyone else in this process, in that it, actually, the Ethics Review Commission would be reviewing that complaint against the employee. That brings with it a whole bunch of labor law issues for that. This is their employment on it. And so the recommendation from the Ethics Review Commission is that for employees, right, the ethics ordinance still applies to employees, but if there's a complaint filed against an employee, the pathway for that is through the town manager and the HR administrative policies of the town, and not the Ethics Review Commission process. Okay, so there is a number of changes throughout the document in order to remove the references of the employees being brought before the Ethics Review Commission for any ethics violations.
Any questions on this? Anybody?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the leader, the manager. Go. Next.
All right, in the next area, so in the process of screening complaints that come in, the complaints go into the town secretary. After the town secretary, they are reviewed by the town attorney. The town attorney is reviewing them for trying to determine if they are a sufficient complaint or an insufficient complaint. And a sufficient complaint meaning that on its face, if everything were stated is true, would it be an actual violation of the ethics ordinance? Was it submitted timely? Was it filed timely? All those different things. And so if for some reason it gets rejected in that process, right, you know, that's because it's insufficient. We wanted to add to the Ethics Review Commission wanted to add to that the idea of personal knowledge being a requirement for it to be a sufficient complaint. Okay, personal knowledge has been defined as knowledge gained by the complainant only through direct firsthand observation or the complainant's own direct sensory experience, and does not include a belief based on what someone else other than the person who is the subject of the complaint has said or done. In other words, the person who is filing the complaint needs to have a level of firsthand knowledge, right, about what was happening through their own sensory experiences, right, or through hearing from someone who was directly impacted by that, but not through, I kind of heard it through the rumor mill, I saw it on social media, things like that would not apply for that, this idea of personal knowledge. Okay. But we also added in there that in the process, it took several steps for it to get to the place where the person who is complained against might receive a copy of the complaint that is filed against them. And so the Ethics Review Commission thought that it would be best for the person who is complained against to receive a notice of the complaint as soon as the complaint is filed. Okay, so once the complaint is filed, it'll be then sent to the person who is complained against, so that they have a record of that, even if the town attorney determines that it's insufficient, right, on that part. It would still just be granted and given back to the person who was complained against. All right. Questions on those two items before I go to timely filing?
No.
No?
Good job.
All right, on the new timely filing requirements, so currently, the ethics ordinance states that you would have to bring a complaint by way of the ethics complaint process, 1 year from the date of the alleged violation. Okay, so if someone committed an act on a certain day, right, then you have 12 months to go before, 365 days to go before that, you have to file that complaint. After that period, it's no longer timely filed. They wanted to add to that complaint that it would also be within 1 year of the court filing of a criminal or civil charge with a 3-year maximum from the date of the alleged violation. All right, so that would potentially lengthen it, right? So if I have the date of the alleged violation, if there were a criminal or civil court case filed against that, not adjudicated, but filed, you'd now have a year from that date. But you kind of have a catch-all that says, but it can't be any longer than 3 years from the alleged violation. The Ethics Review Commission felt that there was a certain timeliness matter to this, right? That if it was 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, it no longer really is relevant to the purposes of the Ethics Review Commission discussing. Okay. Any questions on that item?
What's the reason for the civil if it's not related to?
Yeah. The
town.
Ethics Review Commission felt that if there was information that was able to be, that was really not public, and then it became public through that process, whether it be a civil or a criminal court process, that it would allow for those who might know about it a little bit more to be able to kind of come out and express the idea that there has been an alleged violation of the article. So it was about the idea that some things you just don't really know about entirely until something happens in a court on it. And they felt that that would be a point at which people who reasonably could have known and could have submitted a complaint should have been able to then, within 1 year, file a complaint based on that.
All right, I understand the criminal involvement,
Sure.
okay? But the civil charge, if you're talking about a person that has a secondary business, let's say we have again, I'll pick on Parks and Rec. We got one of our employees there, and he runs a sideline business, and he's into a civil dispute with somebody about collections or something of that matter, or he didn't provide service. Why would we be involved in that?
Yeah.
I don't see that as, this is a filing, this is not they still have to violate the ethics or another section. This is strictly
That's right.
the ability to put the filing requirement out for 3 years, so.
Yeah, so under that fact scenario, there would be no violation of the ethics ordinance. It would be more like if, let's say, there was a civil case involving the Parks and Rec employee where someone is complaining that he stole or she stole from the park department or something, and it could be civil or criminal, but then there would be a violation of the ethics ordinance. And even then, it would be an employee matter.
Okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Any other comments on this? Y'all good?
All right, the Ethics Review Commission also requested that the council remove that a person, so there's a provision in here that states that in order for someone to violate the ethics ordinance, they must knowingly or intentionally violate the ordinance, okay? And that's kind of a legal standard that says in order for you to, violate an ordinance, you have to have knowledge of it, and you have to intend to try and do that. By removing that section, right, essentially, it's no longer a defense to those who are accused of violating the ethics ordinance, that they didn't knowingly violate it or that they didn't intentionally violate that. Now, the Ethics Review Commission, during their deliberations on this item, still felt that that was probably pertinent to the discussion and the Ethics Review Commission's review of that case. However, instead of kind of shutting the case down entirely and saying we can't make any determination here because this person didn't act knowingly or intentionally on the way, that it would just be something they would consider as they are continuing to decide what is the appropriate level of response from the Ethics Review Commission based on the information that they have.
Are we listening? Are y'all good?
I mentioned.
Remember, we all had the
I
same
gave you
discussion
all-
with them last
I gave
week.
you all plenty of warning that this is.
This
very
is our
important.
second time listening.
I mean,
Mayor, I have no other comment on any other part. I've had my say.
oh, so we can skip
Just
the rest
stop-
of it.
skip
huh?
the rest.
We can keep moving. All right,
Thank
I'm going
you,
to move on
thank you.
then. All right. All right, now I'm really going to get boring here.
Yeah, I know, so
All right,
go for it.
Let's talk about vexatious complainants.
Bless their hearts for sitting
Yes,
through this.
exactly. All right, so the ordinance as it's currently written states that the Ethics Review Commission has the ability to determine if something was filed falsely against someone. And that doesn't just mean that it's not true, right? To be a false complaint, it also had to have like a malicious intent to it. All right, so I was doing it to defame someone, damage them politically, personally, professionally, harass them, things like that. Like that would be a false complaint underneath the ordinance. If the board determines that there's a false complaint, they have the ability to recommend to the town attorney that misdemeanor charges be filed against the person who filed the false complaint for it. The Ethics Review Commission felt that it was not really appropriate for them as a board to be in the kind of the false complaint determination business, if you will. In other words, determining whether or not someone's going to be submitting a false complaint really wasn't going to fall within their purview. Instead, they felt like they should replace that section with a vexatious complaint. Now, a vexatious complaint comes from the civil law side of things on it, and basically is someone who comes and submits several frivolous baseless accusations and charges against someone that really are just done, that don't have any ability to be successful in their case for it. So the way that it's written is that if someone has 3 or more frivolous complaints in 7 years, that the board can determine that that person is a vexatious complainant, and they would be barred from filing another complaint for another 3 years. Okay? If someone came and filed 2 very similar complaints within a 3-year period against the same person, again, these are frivolous, baseless, groundless complaints, the board could determine that that person is a vexatious complainant, and they would still be barred for the 3-year period. And in addition to that, anything that they had previously filed will be dismissed just automatically on that. So replacing the false complaint process with the vexatious complainant process on that. And I hope I explained that in some way that makes sense.
So is this solely at that ethic review board level, or will they maybe reach out to legal and say, this is what we're thinking, are we okay legally here, or is that a step that is not needed?
Yeah, so the board will work closely with either the town attorney or another attorney of their choosing throughout the entire process here. So I would say they would very rarely, or if never, be acting independent of legal direction or authorization along the way.
I have a question on that, if we're not going to use.
Wait a minute, I think Dean wanted to follow up with that a moment.
Of
Just-
the town council's choosing.
Okay.
So there was,
Oh, town council,
there
yeah,
was
sorry.
language that said that you shall hire an attorney, and so we made it discretionary, so you can use either me or someone else. So you're not just hiring a random attorney that sits
Sure.
and, waits. So.
And you're going to have a budget item to fund that?
Well, yeah.
We'd have to, unfortunately. Yeah.
We have an ordinance here that we need to support.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, we'd likely, if ever we got into a case that looked like it was going to be expensive, we'd have to have a conversation with the council about budget amendments and things like that to properly fund it.
Okay.
Is this the time to ask how many ethics violations has the Ethics Committee reviewed in its existence?
You know the answer to that?
Anybody have an answer?
Zero.
Any?
I
None?
think it's number 0, right? I think it's 0. I think the number's 0.
No, all right, okay.
Has anyone ever? Okay.
Well, I think that is 0, and I think some of the reason is people don't know that they have a place to go to file a complaint.
Sure.
And that's the exact purpose of having revisited this board, to get it organized, focused, legally driven, so that the residents do have a place to come without creating a lot of chaos. And this way, it's organized, managed, and it's overseen by our legal department as well. So, good job. It gives residents a place to come. Does that answer your question? Did you have a question? Next.
All right, next.
The
So-
one thing, may I point out, you're talking about changes to the ethics, but this doesn't address what is an ethics violation. That's in a different section. So if the public does, and public's
yeah.
open at doing and looking at this, they need to read the whole thing, not just
Oh,
these.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's where I was.
No, I absolutely agree. And, I mean, since we're talking about it, one of our next steps is we're going to communicate what has transpired. So we're going to, again, use our newsletter to throw this stuff out there so that people know that it's available. So,
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that
Communicate.
we've done so far that touches the world of what is an ethics violation and what is not is that language that we put in at the very beginning related to
Right.
scholarships, right?
That's
Everything else has been the exact same.
Yeah.
On it. So the same ethics requirements still apply today. Okay. In the penalties for filing false complaints, the Ethics Review Commission recommended that we just remove the whole section regarding penalties on that. So before, again, there was a Class C misdemeanor charge that could be made if certain sections of the ordinance were violated. The recommendation is that that probably has an overwhelming chilling effect on the public to be able to submit complaints, and therefore probably should just be removed in its entirety on that. So this would be removing those sections. Okay.
next.
Going on? Very good.
Good, everybody?
All right. And then this one's just kind of a catch-all. There were several sections that were changed regarding the number of days that were allowed for certain things to be processed, notifications made, how many days it takes to actually have a meeting of the Ethics Review Commission after a complaint is filed, all those different things. We standardized all the number of days into business days, so being days of, that the town is actually open for business. And then linked in some of them as well, but that's throughout the entire document, made a lot of changes to the number of days. And I think that is it. We have, I want to mention, we do have the Ethics Review Commission here, and as we said at the beginning, I don't know if you have any other comments or thoughts on kind of what I've added to this. Certainly, I'm just kind of, here helping them get, this is the president-led, right, this process for it, so I don't want to make this seem as if you have town staff kind of coming in and saying, make all these changes. These changes come from the residents here for that. And that's why I wanted, if they have anything they want to jump up and say regarding that, we'd be happy to.
Any comments? Comments? Thank you. Come on, Mindy. It's your floor.
I wanted to speak on the scholarships and awards.
Thank you.
Just to kind of give you why we were going in that direction. The flip side of it is we're trying to be ethical and trying to make sure that people in power, whatever their position is, they don't use that to influence the decision-making process. So I had a whole bunch of stuff written, but I'm not going to read all of it. Instead of striking it, I'm just going to ask if you reconsider and maybe changing the language to at least making it anonymous. So then we can make sure that if there is a family with an influential person, whoever that is, has multiple kids, they don't win it every year because they're influencing the decision-making process. So that's kind of where we are going with that.
I am not clear on what you're looking to, make what anonymous?
The applicant.
The application process, decision-making process.
So
No
I know-
names.
Yeah, so I know, I can only speak to Rotary because I'm
Right.
close to that. That is all anonymous. Everything is redacted, names, parents' names, everything.
Right.
So, but that's just one organization.
Right. So I think if we don't want to do the 4 years to make sure that, we're trying to avoid any of this happening. We're not saying it's going to, but we're trying to make sure that that does not happen. So if we could at least, instead of striking it completely, amend the language and make it to where everybody that submits something, whether it's TCEVA, Rotary, whomever, for the town employees and whoever's elected, that it's completely anonymous, so then we don't have any influence on the kids, whether they're
I know that-
qualified or not, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
before-
Women's Club, who gives a lot of
Right, they give a lot of money.
scholarships, it's all deducted. They do not know
Okay.
who receives, who's applying. There's no
Okay.
identification of applicant.
Yeah, and Mindy, before I brought it up, I checked just
Yeah.
Okay.
to make sure at least that one was anonymous.
Yeah.
And I have no problem putting in the ordinance, as long as we're
Yeah.
not restricting the numbers,
Right.
that the applications have to be anonymous.
Absolutely.
Well, and I
Or
also
that-
think on the flip side of that, we've got families that could have many qualified candidates. But if you've got many children each year winning, and maybe they are the most qualified candidate, then it's going to also pose the question, are they being influenced? Are they receiving special treatment? And then it kind of discredits that candidate as well. So this would keep that from happening on both sides, to where whoever is applying receives it, they deserve it, no questions asked. So that was kind of the purpose of
I have
that.
no problem being anonymous.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Any other comments from the board? I'll say, so let's put a motion together, I think. Would you do that for us, Brandon? But before we go further, though, I would like to thank our attorney, Dean. I mean, wouldn't you like for him to stand up and get recognized? Come on, stand.
Come on, Dean.
I'm telling you.
Do I have to define gobbledygook?
I tell you, I came in and for one meeting just to see, I mean, I'm telling you, the guy worked really hard those 2 hours. So we really thank you for your commitment to Trophy Club, to see that we do things right here. and that there's no question that we have to deal with when we get into it. Thank you very much, Dean.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. You have the motion ready?
So I want to make sure, because we've talked about a couple things. So, the last thing that I've heard now is to have, for these grant scholarships and otherwise monies for education, right? That you're okay with the same person winning the award multiple times, so long as they're anonymous?
You mean the employees' children winning it?
Correct.
Multiple
Yeah,
times, correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so not the individual.
Not the individual,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're back to kind of Gary's idea a little bit earlier, which was once a child, once a child or other person in the family receives an award, that person's done for that award for the term of their education. Is that from that organization?
That's what I suggest, yes.
Oh,
Is that,
well, but
this is
they're
why I'm a
not,
little bit confused as to where we are with it.
I think, my understanding is, if I'm a parent and I have 4 kids, all 4 of those people can apply for a scholarship as long as we keep their identification anonymous.
Well, yes, but what Gary is saying is, it's kind of one and done.
Yep.
You get an award, you're done.
That person-
Whether you're 1 year, 2 year, 6 year, or on the 10-year plan.
And that's what Gary and I disagree on. Because I think it's the family,
Yeah,
and I don't know how to word it, but the nonprofit needs to be anonymous. The application to the nonprofit has to be anonymous, so that they make a unbiased decision. But I think an employee has a family and a spouse, and the spouse could be going to school too. And I think they have the ability to apply for as many scholarships as they can get
I do
to
too.
help. I mean, not every family in Trophy Club can afford to send their kids to college.
If I can
Thank you.
propose some language after the word offered anonymously by nonprofit organizations. So it'd read awards, grants, scholarships, or similar gifts related to training, licensing, or education offered anonymously by nonprofit organizations that are restricted to a group of 10 employees, and so forth. Does that?
Yeah. Read it one more time louder, please, so they can hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Awards, grants, scholarships, or similar gifts related to training, licensing, or education offered anonymously by nonprofit organizations that is restricted to a group of town employees, excluding the town manager and including employees' family members, where all members of the employee group have an equal opportunity to apply or to be nominated, and you could add anonymously again there, for, and receive the award, grant, scholarship, or similar gift.
But none of that language gets at, well, this
Yeah,
issue we've
the
been just
repeat.
talking about.
No, that's just the
No,
anonymous.
I get
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Which I
That's
think,
more-
I think you like the anonymous language, correct?
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay. So we're okay with that language, no matter what the outcome of the other one is, you're okay with the anonymous.
Hold on, we have a
We have
citizen
some,
that may want to
first of
speak.
all, we have Jennifer over here who's on the board. Did you want to say something? And then Connie, you can speak. How about that?
So I understand some of the concern that you have with this certain addendum. I would recommend, if you do want to, instead of use the word anonymous, use like a blind selection as part of it, to remember that the purpose of this is per nonprofit. It's not all nonprofits across the board. It's just one particular nonprofit can't keep selecting the same applicant. There's plenty of other nonprofits that are going to present to the employees that are just specified just to the employees. We don't know how many more are going to be in our future, how many more options are going to be. But I think it's going to look like there's no neutrality. There's an appearance of impropriety if we have a nonprofit such as the Rotary, since we've been using that example, that blindly keeps selecting the same applicant every year. It just isn't a good look. So if you're still using those procedures to go in and do it blindly and you don't know who it is and who the applicant is, I think it would make sense to remove that one winner of the scholarship from that particular nonprofit. It doesn't prevent them from going to other nonprofits, but from that same one, if they keep winning, it gives a appearance of impropriety, which is something that Trophy Club doesn't need. We need to look like we have a really high standard of ethics, and that's what the intention of this 4-year recommendation was. Even if you wanted to split the time and say maybe every 2 years or something like that, I think would be fine. But the key is that it's each nonprofit, and right now, I don't know how many we have, maybe it's just 4 or 5 that approach, Town of Trophy Club. 5 years from now, it could be 30. I mean, who knows, and there could be a lot more opportunities, so it's really just the way it looks. But anyway, back to what I said before, if you're gonna change the language, I would recommend blind selection instead of the word anonymous, so it just kind of demonstrates maybe closely what you're looking for.
So offered, starting with the word, let's see, offered by nonprofit organizations through a blind selection process?
I think that probably gets across what you're wanting
Does this need more
to
work?
define.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said, does this really need a little more work before we take action on it?
Yeah, we can.
Just this one item, though, just the one article is where we're stuck.
Between that and then the number, this other topic, right? So there's the blind selection process, which I think that language is relatively easy enough to change for us. The question only becomes the way we're modifying it for the other side of this, right? So
Okay.
how many times can someone win the award for it? That may, or if it looks like that's a complicated thing, probably the next meeting would be good. If it's simple enough and Dean can kind of look at it and give you an idea of what it looks like, then I would recommend you just go ahead and move forward tonight.
I guess I'm in the camp of Jennifer, and maybe Dennis too. I don't like the one and done necessarily, but maybe not consecutive years or every 2 years, something. Again, I just go back to the experience of the Rotary, the pool of people that they look at is not very big.
It's very small.
It's small, really small. Matter of fact, they've now included Roanoke first responders.
Yeah.
So I don't want, I think if you do the one and done, that's really going to be problematic. So maybe there's a way, to your point, Jennifer, to tweak that just a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, you're avoiding how do they say it, meritocracy? If a selection is set up that's blind, you don't know who's applying, and you've set criteria, and that person is the one who wins it every year, why would you limit them? They meet the criteria. They satisfied the requirement in a blind situation.
How do you ensure it's blind? How do you ensure that it's blind?
So we were just talking about their process
They just don't have their name on
on it.
the.
No, I
on
mean,
the application.
they're putting an application in, somebody redacts it, the person who redacts it knows the name of the person, right?
But it's usually a team of
It's a
people. It's
team.
not an individual.
No. Connie, you wanted to, I'd like to hear from Connie because she's done a lot of scholarship. Let's see what she says, please.
Well, actually, Connie White, actually, what I wanted to say, for one thing, I agree with Jennifer, because the way you were reading in anonymous was making the organization anonymous and not the individual anonymous, which is obviously not what we want to do. That was one problem I had. The other thing is, I don't know how, as Steve mentioned, this is a very small number, so anonymity is difficult. I also recognize where they're coming from with the multiples, because I'm part of TCBA, we've run into that. But I also think that, for the most part, most of these scholarships are given to high school seniors, and that's who's really applying. I think the one and done is not a bad idea, but I also think it's not a problem, because these are not scholarships that's going to get somebody through college, believe me. You know, we're talking
$500.
$1,000. So
That's many
it's
books.
more of a recognition,
Yeah.
you know, and of course, it's always a help, but it's a recognition. But I really think that, I don't know how to solve the family problem, but I do think that some of the rules aren't as critical as we might think, because they're normally given to high school seniors. And at least that's been my experience in any of the organizations.
Thank you. Thanks, Connie.
I'd like to table this back to the committee
Okay.
and have them try to define this a little cleaner.
Not cleaner, but clarify it so that it fits what we're asking.
You know, it's a difficult committee to be on, It's a difficult issue to address. And they've done a fantastic job so far doing this. There's nobody going to please everybody. And I've always got to be the one person out. So, but I have no problem sending it back to them and asking
Me
them to
either. I think-
reconsider based
a
on this
motion that we-
conversation.
Okay, you want a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send this back to the Ethics Commission to reword it and rework
Review the
it,
scholarship
and then bring it back to us for
Okay.
approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
But before
Grace?
you vote,
Yes,
I just want to
yes.
make one comment.
Thank you.
I don't want this to be perceived in any way, not thankful for the work that you guys did, because it's awesome. Just a little bit of tweaking is all that's going to be required. I think if everybody up here sounds supportive of it, just needs to tweak it. So just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
All right. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. And we get to, so we are going to, it's 8:15, and we are going to convene into an executive session.
Pursuant to 551074, personnel matters to deliberate the employment, evaluation, and duties of public officers or employee, town manager, town attorney, and town secretary.
Thank you very much. See you all
said
on the other side.
8:15.
payday fund.
Yeah,
There's GoFundMe, and then there's the payday fund.
definitely. Okay.
It's one of my favorites. Oh, yeah, one of my favorites.
Okay, before I close the meeting, you have a, Steve has a,
Excuse me, Mayor, you need to state the time.
oh, I'm sorry. It's 8:52. We have reconvened into regular session, please.
Without any action.
Yes, no action.
Mayor, I'd like to request the town manager, per the discussions we had tonight and the night before, to have an official agenda item next town council meeting about the issues that the residents have brought up. They've made it pretty clear that their request is for us to address the issue, so
I second that.
Second.
So we don't vote on it.
We don't
right?
vote.
No, not vote, but you need two council
Yeah.
people to
Right.
put an agenda item on.
Okay, then, okay. That will be put on the next agenda for, that will be July the 28th, isn't it? Okay, any other comments, questions? It's 8:53, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yep.